I'm nearly 30. 27 isn't nearly 30, but in 2020 I'm 28, and that's 2 years away from 30. You can hardly get anything done in 2 years. You could have 1.5 babies if you're extra fertile and the wind was blowing just right at the precise moment of penetration. You could walk from the Shire to Mordor, then back again, then change your mind because ultimately after a life of such excitement and peril, everything else feels meaningless. Go back to Mordor, then realise that the whole Mordor thing is a little bit played out, so go back home to strike up a loveless marriage with a comely hobbit called Murgle. But 2 years is nothing. I mean, you might change your sheets once, twice if you have a guest over. I wonder how many takeaways I'll have eaten by then. I wonder how many takeaways I eat in a year. Siri, how much did I spend on takeaways this year? I don't have an iPhone, I don't know who I thought would answer. You can get divorced exactly 2 years after you separate from Murgle, as long as she hasn't cheated on you, deserted you, or behaved in some way unreasonably. Yes, it was unreasonable, Murgle. We already had a bouncy castle. Nobody needs two You know what? We have lawyers for this. Oh god, there were so many things I wanted to achieve by the time I was 30. I mean, I can't think of one, but there must be some because people are always saying that. It was so much easier for people in the old days when 30 was your total life expectancy. You weren't having a midlife crisis at 15. You were too busy baking bread and chasing the local lunatic away from your aubergines. They really hadn't figured out mental health back then. Or that the aubergine is an incredibly phallic object. So sad. The thing to do probably is to assume that you'll be famous after you're dead, like not appreciated in your own time, because it's really sad when that happens until they fix it in an episode of Doctor Who. People work hard all their lives and never know that their work really touched people. If you just assume that you'll definitely be recognised for your achievements after your death, problem solved. I know that people will look back at me and think, God, she ate a lot of crisps. She could watch an entire series of a TV show in one day if she had nothing else on. So brave. And they'll leave crisp packets and Netflix vouchers on my gravestone, right next to Karl Marx's in Highgate Cemetery. Sometimes I want to take pictures with celebrities, like go up to them at events and ask them for a photo, but then I think no, because this will be really embarrassing for me when I'm very famous too and they dredge that old thing up. Me and Ian McKellen sitting on Graham Norton's sofa together, just laughing at what a tit I was. How could I have known that I was going to be so famous and successful, especially when I was putting no particular effort into any sort of public-facing field? Incredible. Sometimes I think I must hate attention because I don't know how to stand in photographs, and that must make me really modest and humble. Then I think it doesn't mean that. Because afterwards I just won't stop showing people how weird my arms looked in the pictures. Like, what was I doing? Have you seen them? Look at them, honestly. Look at these arms. Look at the arms. If any casting directors out there are watching this, I'd like a 3-film deal. I'd like to write on it, but just the jokes, not any of the plot stuff. And at the end, I'd like Adam Driver and I to kiss. Even if it makes no sense, even if he hasn't redeemed himself, I don't care how many civilians he's murdered. I will get my kiss. God. Nearly 30, eh? I looked at some footage of myself the other day from 2014 and I thought, she's doing all right. She's happy, healthy, thriving. Of course she was doing all right. She wasn't going to turn 30 for another 8 fucking years.